Alright, just a heads up, this movie starts off really nasty. Literally the first thing that happens is a man that gets it on with a corpse in a morgue. Once he's done, he cleans up and stores the dead body in the locker again. Next, we meet Samantha as she calls Nikki and leaves a message. She's calling her to let her know that she's about to head into Alice's party, and she hopes that she shows up after work. Sam heads in and meets up with Alice, who instantly gets her going on loosening up a little. While Alice goes to get her a beer, Riley shows up, and he tells her how excited he is to see her there. He tries to make some more small talk, but Sam just isn't feeling it, and she tries to go to the bathroom. On her way, she runs into Zane, who's also surprised to see her there. He immediately asks her where Nikki is, and he offers her a bump if she needs it. Sam can't catch a break. I feel like every 5 steps she runs into someone who's trying to get with her or bring up the past. Luckily for her, she runs into Alice, who's pouring her very, very strong drinks. Essentially just shots. Sam tries to play it safe, but Alice assures her that Nikki isn't going to show up. After making awkward eye contact with another guy, Sam knocks back 2 or 3 shots back to back. Meanwhile, Riley watches her from afar, and Zane tells her that Sam isn't interested in what he has to offer anymore. He doesn't get the hint though, and Nikki's the one that has to break it to him in half the party. After a few more drinks, Sam goes outside to leave Nikki one more message, and she heads back in to get another drink. She ends up getting startled by the guy that's been creeping on her, and he hands her a drink he made. PSA time, don't take drinks from strangers. What happens next is a form of date rape, and by the next morning we start counting the days. Sam wakes up with a terrible hangover, and she checks her phone to find that Nikki left her a voicemail. She pretty much just says that she'll see her when she sees her, and Sam heads out of the room to see where she's at. When she opens the door, she finds all sorts of orchids, and then she comes out to find that her mother's home. Her mom tries to connect with her a little bit, but when Sam brings up going out with Nikki, her mother very clearly doesn't approve of the relationship. When Sam finally meets with Nikki, Nikki notices Sam's choice in cold weather attire, and Sam tells her that she just thinks she's getting sick. Nikki asks if she did anything fun at the party the night before, and even though Sam immediately thinks of her time with the creepy guy, she tells her no. When she gets back home for dinner, Sam goes to take her plate to her room to eat on her own, but her mom makes her sit with her at the table. The traditional parenting rules. When you're in my house, you'll follow my rules and we're going to act like a happy family. I love how she says they'll act like a happy family instead of being one. She knows there's no fixing the gap that's between them. Finally, her mother hits the nail on the head by talking about how her relationship with Nikki isn't the normal arrangement. And when Sam goes to storm off, she's hit with a terrible pain in her head. Day 2. Sam wakes up in her bed and she can hear flies buzzing around. The pain in her head hasn't gone away, and now she notices that she's been menstruating all night. She goes to check herself in the mirror, and she notices black veins spreading from her groin. She decides to treat this like she would any period, and she heads into the shower to clean up. When she comes out to the kitchen, she thinks she smells something funky in there. While she's driving, she calls Alice, and she ignores a call from Nikki. Alice tells Sam about waking up to the cops at her door, and she tells her that they were looking for a random guy that might have been at the party. Does Sam take this chance to tell her about the random guy that drugged her and had his way with her in his car? No, she just tells her to keep her in the loop. She literally acts like everything is just fine, but when she gets to work, she sits to eat some food and almost throws up. Just then, Sam's told that she has to get back to work, and she heads downstairs to find Riley in her section. He takes a moment to explain that he wasn't trying to get with her at the party, and Sam apologizes for Alice calling him out that night. Then, Sam heads to the back to ask her coworker to switch sections with her, and she heads out to her new customers. While she takes their order, Sam hears an alarming sound in her ears that drowns out her customer's order. It's so bad that she heads straight to the bathroom to try and drown out the sound. She finally gets a moment of peace, but the sound rushes back with a vengeance. Eventually, it stops again, and she takes this chance to go to the bathroom. It starts normal, but very quickly she starts urinating pure blood. Is this the time to leave and go to the doctor? Of course not. She heads back out, tells her coworkers that it's just bad cramps, and tries to keep working. That's Employee of the Month right there. Until she collapses from loss of blood on the dining floor. Okay, so I was a little off, but she's hit by a pain so bad that she finally decides to go to the doctor. When she goes to her gynecologist, she tries to explain how she's feeling in the most vague ways. But the more she talks about it, the more the doctor just thinks that she's having an irregular period. After listening to her heart, he points out that her heart rate is abnormally slow. Eventually, he goes to check on her nether regions, and Sam points out that she has a rash starting there. She lies back and shows him the black veins, and he immediately asks her if she's sexually active. She then tries to completely omit what happened 2 nights ago, and she tells him she's a lesbian. When you have black veins and enough blood coming out that it looks like the Shining elevator opening up, I think it's time to mention the other night. At least to the doctor of all people. The doctor isn't dumb though, and he pieces everything together. He tells her that she definitely has something going on from that encounter, but when he spots the cut marks on her arm, he seems to assume that she's hiding something else. From what he can see, she simply has a head cold and a rash, and she heads out to deal with that. Her first stop is to Nikki's apartment, and Nikki seems all too thrilled that she's stopping by unexpectedly. When they sit down, Nikki notices that Sam looks unwell, but Sam just tells her that she's a little under the weather. Sam pulls out a bottle of wine and points out that she brought it to celebrate their 10-month anniversary. But Nikki blows it off as a weird date. When Sam notices that Nikki isn't too interested in them getting together, she heads out to grab dinner with Alice. What's the first thing Alice notices? It might be Sam's bloody red eye, of course. She doesn't say hi or anything like that. She just immediately sends her to the bathroom to look at it. Alice comes in to check on Sam, and she asks how things are going between her and Nikki. To change the subject, Sam asks about the guy the police were looking for, and Alice tells her the police put out an alert for the guy like he might be dangerous. Back at home, Sam gets some cream to rub down on her rash, but she's in so much pain while she does it. When she stands up afterwards, a maggot falls out of her. That made me cringe a little bit. That just ain't right. Sam doesn't notice that though, and she goes to brush her teeth next. Suddenly, she brushes a tooth loose. Oh, that's not enough to make you worry you were sick to your stomach? Let's make her throw up some blood next. Oh, I hate this. This is only day 2, too. I wouldn't make it to day 3 if this were me. Sam goes to sleep that night, but she's woken up by even more spells of throwing up blood. Her mother comes in to check on her, but Sam tries to play it off like she's just sick. Her mom asks her if she's pregnant, and Sam points out that that's not possible considering she's a lesbian. After this, we cut to a screen that tells us that we're now on day 3 of 3. Sam wakes up in a pool of blood and her face on the toilet. She pulls herself to her feet, and she tries to clean the bathroom with toilet paper. This is like watching someone clean up a crime scene with a moist towelette. That's not gonna work. She goes to take a shower next, but she doesn't feel any hot water. She calls out to her mother to ask if she used all of the hot water, but what she doesn't see is the steam coming from the shower behind her. She lets her mom come in to prove that the water's cold, but her mom notices the burn on Sam's hand. She tells Sam that she's not standing for Sam's past self being brought into the house again. Sam goes ahead and takes a shower, and we see that the black veins are spreading even further now. Suddenly, clumps of hair fall out into the tub, and she gets ready to head to the doctor. When she goes to leave, her mother asks her what she's doing to herself, and she points out the huge bald spot on the back of Sam's head. Sam rushes out to go to the doctor, but she gets a call from her boss. He tells her that he just needs her to come in until her replacement comes in. Employee of the year here, folks. She's literally dying on her feet, and she heads into work still. If you've got someone like this, give them a raise and don't let them go. Once she's at work, Sam serves her customers a salad she prepared, but when she gets back to the kitchen, she notices that her nail is peeling right off. If this movie does anything right, it's the cringe factor. This movie is the queen of subtle body horror. Naturally, Sam's sent away when the customer finds a nail in her salad, and when Sam heads out, she runs into Riley, who offers to take her to the doctor. She tries to emphasize that she's not into him, but when she goes to walk away, he tells her that he knows about her sleeping with the guy that the police are looking for. After this, Sam rushes away and she heads to the doctor. While she's waiting, she answers a call from Alice, who tells her that they caught the guy and they're questioning anyone that he came in contact with. Finally, Sam goes back to the doctor, and he's surprised to see how quickly this has progressed. He warns her that this is some sort of hyper STD, and he sends her on her way. Afterwards, Sam goes to Zane's apartment, and she asks him for something that'll help her get through the next 48 hours. This guy actually has little Christmas lights decorating his drug box. He loves what he does. Go out and find yourself a job that you love doing with as much pride as Zane has. Sam does a line while Zane lets Alice in, and Sam opens up about how she had really close contact with a guy at the party. When Sam shows them just what's going on with her body, Alice tries to convince her to go to the police. Sam gets really defensive, and she tries to throw Alice under the bus. Then she storms out of the apartment, and Zane admits to Alice that he sold roofies to the guy at the party. Sam heads to her job to drink at the bar, and she thinks she sees the guy that drugged her at the party. She follows the man outside who has another girl in tow, but she heads home instead. Just as she tries to leave, her mother comes home with her friend in tow, and they keep her from leaving the house. This mom still thinks that Sam is just some drugged up addict. What drug does all this in 3 days? It should be destroyed. I mean, just look at her teeth. She looks like she's turning into the witch that tempts Hansel and Gretel to come inside. Finally, Sam shows them exactly what she's dealing with, and they're absolutely horrified. Now that Sam's free, she heads over to the school to sign in for the orchid show. The plants she brings are dead and withered, and the man at the desk asks her to take off her glasses to confirm that it's her. After seeing her like this, he leaves to get someone to come help him. When he returns, he tells her that they can't admit her into the competition in this state. Sam storms out of the building and heads straight for Nikki's apartment. Nikki tries to ignore her, but when Sam breaks down into the hallway, Nikki opens the door enough to tell her to shove off. She tells Sam that Alice called her and told her about her encounter from the other night, and she makes her see that she just isn't into her anymore. Sam then goes full psycho on her when she tries to close the door. This super STD gave her psycho STD strength too. When someone that looks like Sam here gets on top of you and strangles you, you pretty much give up hope. That's a nightmare on top of her. Once Sam finishes off Nikki, she heads to Alice's house to ask her why she told Nikki everything. Sam still thinks that Alice just wants her, and she tells her that it's Alice's fault for what she did. Sam stumbles after Alice, and Alice grabs a knife from the kitchen. Has it been too long since we've been grossed out? Well, Sam smoothly talks the knife out of Alice's hands, starts kissing her, and then vomits blood into her mouth. Thank you so much for that. When Alice tries to run, Sam gets on top of her and bites a hole in her neck. Oh my god, what is this disease? Sam changes her clothes and grabs Alice's phone to call Riley. She calls him over and goes to put on enough makeup to cover up the disease showing on her face. When Riley shows up, Sam tells him that she needs someone like him in her life, and they proceed to get it on. Riley mentions that he doesn't have a condom, but she assures him that he's okay. This could be a sex ed movie on how to practice safe sex. Talk about a scare tactic. Oh, and yeah, there's another maggot that falls out during. Ugh. When Riley backs up, he notices a whole bunch of maggots have fallen out, and he heads to the bathroom to try and clean himself up. When he checks in the shower, he finds Alice's dead body, and Sam heads into her car and calls her mom for help. While she's driving, Sam passes out and crashes. When she comes to, she stumbles out of her car and gets aggressive like a zombie. When police show up, Sam's mother tries to reason with her, but Sam ends up attacking her. Then the credits roll. I love this movie. It really does a good job of getting you with subtle body horror. Then it turns the effects up to 10 in the last minutes. Oh my, there's a second one? 1,000 likes and I'll do the sequel. Give it a shot. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more like this one. Comment what you think I should watch next, and I'll see you in the next video.